Good morning, friends. Today we are learning the topic industrial stoichiometry. Myself, Satish Rikame, and I'm going to teach you the industrial stoichiometry. In that, we are looking for the fourth chapter, that is the material balance with chemical reactions. In that, first we'll see the stoichiometry, then we'll see the stoichiometric equation and stoichiometric coefficients. Now let us see the stoichiometry. What is stoichiometry? Stoichiometry is the calculation of reactants and products in chemical reactions, and it is the theory of proportions in which chemical species combine with each other. It also defined as the quantitative relationship of reactants and products in a chemical reaction. It is based on the law of conservation of mass. Now see, what do we mean by stoichiometric equation? The equation of a chemical reaction is the statement indicating relative moles of reactant and products that take part in the reaction, in a chemical reaction. Now let us see, CO plus twice H2 gives methanol. Indicates that one molecule of CO react with two molecules of hydrogen, and combinedly it will give one molecule of methanol. The molecules of carbon monoxide, hydrogen and methanol is represented by either mole or kilomole. Now let us see the stoichiometric coefficient. It is the number that precedes the formula of each component involved in a chemical reaction. Now look at the above reaction where CO react with hydrogen and gives the methanol. Here the coefficient, stoichiometric coefficient of CO is 1, for hydrogen it is 2, and that of methanol is 1. That means 1 kilomole of CO is equivalent with 1 kilomole of methanol or equivalent with 2 kilomole of hydrogen. It means for producing 1 mole of methanol will require 1 mole of CO, and that must be combined with 2 moles of hydrogen. In other words, 1 mole CO when reacted with 2 mole of hydrogen, it will give 1 mole of methanol. Now let us see the stoichiometric ratio. It is the ratio of stoichiometric coefficient of two molecular species or component in the balance reaction equation. For example, the stoichiometric ratio of hydrogen to CO is twice 2:1 or 2. It will be helpful to calculate the moles of one species reacted as related to the moles of another species reacted by the chemical reaction. Now see the stoichiometric proportion. Suppose two reactant A and B are said to be present in a stoichiometric proportion, and if the ratio of moles of A present to the moles of B present is equal to the stoichiometric ratio obtained from the balance reaction equation. For example, CO plus hydrogen gives methanol. For the reactant in above reaction to be present in stoichiometric proportion, there must be 2 moles of hydrogen for every mole of CO. In that case, moles of hydrogen to the moles of CO is equal to twice as to 1 or 2 present in the feed to the reactant. Now, when the reactants are fed to a reactor in the stoichiometric proportion and the reaction goes to completion, all the reactants are consumed. In that case, above cited reaction, for example, if 200 moles of hydrogen and 100 moles of CO are initially present, hydrogen and CO would disappear at same instant. It follows that if we start with 100 mole of CO and less than 200 mole of H2, that means hydrogen is present less in that case of carbon monoxide, and as compared to the stoichiometric proportion, hydrogen disappeared before CO. On the other hand, if there are more than 200 moles of hydrogen initially present, the CO appear first. Now see how the material balance with chemical reaction is to be going on. Now the process for manufacturing of a desired product from a given raw material involves a series of steps where physical and chemical changes takes place in material under consideration. The steps where the chemical changes takes place, that is within the raw material, undergo chemical reactions or with or without the catalyst to produce the desired product, is the heart of the process, and it decides the economics of your process as a whole. Material balances of the processes wherein chemical reaction takes place are very important from the design point of view of chemical reactors. The occurrence of chemical reactions make the material balance calculation complicated, as in addition to the input and output terms at steady state, the formation or disappearance of material is involved. The terminology and procedure used for solving the material balance problem with chemical reactions are given in this chapter for getting clear idea about the stoichiometry. Now, in this process involving chemical reactions, total mass of various components entering a reactor is equal to the total mass of various components leaving the reactor. But the sum of moles of the entering component need not be equal to the sum of moles of the product or components leaving the reactor. And while doing the material balance calculation, in such cases it is important to use the basis for the calculations in molar units. Generally, calculations are based on limiting reactant, and the quantities of the product form are calculated by referring to the chemical reactions and the amount of the limiting reactant reacted. Now see the typical problems underlying the subject involved. Providing the information of composition and quantities of components entering the reaction system and calculations of the composition and quantities of components leaving the system for a specified degree of completion of reactions and similar way. Now see the limiting reactant or the component. It is defined as the reactant that would disappear first if the reaction goes to the completion. It is one which decides the extent of reaction. The limiting reactant is always present in less as compared to the stoichiometric proportion with the relative to the other reactant. It is the reactant which is present in smallest stoichiometric amount, that is the reactant which is not present in excess of that theoretically required to combine with any other reactants. Now the excess reactant. It is defined as the reactant which is in excess to the theoretical or stoichiometric requirement as determined by the desired reaction. The excess component reactant always found in the product stream through the reaction proceed to the completion. It always present in excess. For example, methane react with oxygen and gives ethylene oxide. For producing ethylene oxide, oxidation of ethylene, then oxygen, air should be fed to the reactor. Air should always in excess to that of the theoretical required, and ethylene is the limiting reactant and oxygen is an excess reactant. When all the reactants are present in the stoichiometric proportion, then none of the reactants involved in the limiting. Now second case, nitrogen react with hydrogen and gives ammonia. N2 and H2 are always fed to the reactant in stoichiometric proportion, that is 1 mole nitrogen to 3 mole hydrogen. So no reactant is limiting. Now let us see the percent excess. The excess reactant involved in the reaction is generally specified in terms of percent excess. It is the amount of reactant in excess to that of stoichiometric requirement expressed as the percentage of stoichiometric theoretical requirement. Consider the reaction A plus B gives the C, where B is the excess reactant. Then percent excess of B is defined by moles of B supplied minus moles of B theoretically required divided by moles of B theoretically required into 100. Moles of B theoretically required are the moles of B that would corresponds to stoichiometric proportion and are calculated based on the limiting reactant charged. Again, the above equation can be rearranged to calculate the quantity of excess reactant actually supplied. So the moles of B actually fed or supplied is equal to stoichiometric requirement or theoretical requirement of B into 1 plus percent excess of B divided by 100. The quantity of excess reactant must be found based on the quantity of limiting reactant fed to the reactor. For example, sulfur dioxide when react with oxygen gives sulfur trioxide. Suppose 100 mole of SO2 per hour and 75 moles of oxygen per hour are fed to the reactor. SO2 is clearly limiting reactant, and to be in stoichiometric proportion, the moles of oxygen would disappear, would be 50 moles per hour. Therefore, the percent excess of O2 is equal to 75 minus 50 upon 50 into 100, or 50% excess O2 is supplied to the reaction. Then the next term is conversion. The conversion, which is always based on limiting reactant, and it gives idea regarding the degree of completion of your reaction. The unreacted quantities of raw material are easily obtained by knowing the charged quantities with the help of conversion. This in turn gives us the idea regarding whether recycling is to be done or not for the process to be economically feasible. Now the reaction A plus B gives C, where A is the limiting reactant, B is in excess. Then fractional conversion is the fraction of limiting reactant reacted to produce product. Conversion or fractional conversion of A is the ratio of amount of A reacted to the amount of A charged or fed to the reactor. Then percentage conversion of A is the amount of A reacted expressed as a percentage of amount of A charged or fed to the reactor. So the percent conversion of A is equal to moles of A reacted to the moles of A charged or fed into 100. It always expressed on mole or weight basis. Now see, if 100 moles of reactant A are fed and 75 of them react, the fractional conversion is 0.75 or percentage conversion is 75%, and the fractional unreacted is 0.25. If 50 mole of reactant A fed to the reactor and the percentage conversion is 80%, then 0.80 into 50 is equal to 40 mole of reactant A are reacted, and 0.20 into 50, 10 mole of A is unchanged. The degree of completion of the reaction is expressed as the percentage of limiting reactant converted into the product. Now the yield and selectivity. In most of the chemical processes, though the objective is to produce a desired product, the raw material may undergo a series of parallel reactions resulting into the production of undesired material, which has an adverse effect on the economics of the process. In such a cases, the steps are taken to depress the side reaction by use of selective catalyst or addition of inhibitors in the feed. The term yield and selectivity are used in the case of multiple reactions to give the information regarding the degree to which a desired reaction predominates over the side reaction or products. Consider the reaction A plus B gives C, C plus B gives D, or A gives C, C gives D, reaction in series, or A gives C, then A again give D, parallel reaction, where C is the desired product and D is the undesired product, and A is the limiting reactant. Then the yield of C is given as moles of A reacted to produce C divided by moles of A totally fed or reacted into 100. Yield of the desired product is the quantity of the limiting reactant reacted to produce it expressed as a percentage of the quantity of the limiting reactant reacted totally. Consider the parallel reaction. A gives C and A gives D, where C is the desired product, D is the undesired product. Then the selectivity of C relative to D is defined as moles of C form divided by moles of D form. That means moles of desired product form divided by moles of undesired product form. Selectivity is also defined as the ratio of amount of limiting reactant reactant to produce the desired product to the amount of it reacted to produce an undesired product. If yield is 100%, then selectivity is equal to 1. And finally, the composition of the product and reactant. The composition of the product stream as well as the reactor stream can be expressed in terms of weight percent or mole percent, or sometimes it may be expressed in volume percent. A reactant stream is one that contains all the reactants entering a reactant, and the product stream, which is the one which leaves the reactor and contains the product as well as unreacted reactants. If we supplied with the feed composition, percent conversion, yield, we can calculate the composition of the product stream using chemical reactions, which gives us an idea regarding the reactant and products. Thank you.